damn dog show. Woo.
We back at the Best Damn Dog Show with Miss T. And Miss T, we have you back again. And who did you invite as our guest this week? Who is this guy?
We have Chris from Von Wolfenfel's Canine
Nice.
from New York, an
Yes, sir.
extension of our family over here on the West Coast,
The PM.
bringing the East Coast into the petmatrx.
Nice.
How you guys doing? Thank
We
you
good,
so
we
much
good.
for inviting me. Thank you.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. So happy to be here and have really the family come together. We've been spending almost a whole week
Yep.
together.
You've been enjoying him Punishmentville. You've been treating him just right. I guess
it.
you've been
That's
visiting us here in Punishmentville. Yeah.
Punishmentville's fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Living the dog life and Cali swag style and and really just being here for the dogs.
Yeah.
And the great part about this is that the last time that Smoke and I were on stage, we were talking about dogs and nutrition, how he has really brought me under his wing and teaching me as, again, a single female, what it's like to build my own dog from a protection standpoint, because I will always tell everybody I am so new to this space. I don't have the experience that everybody has. And I feel so honored and privileged to
Thank
be
you.
able to learn from somebody who
Thank you.
has been doing this for decades. And then that's where you come in here. And I think I almost feel like it's over a year ago now, or maybe
Right about there.
approaching that year
Probably.
line where Smokey was, you got to talk to this guy named Chris. He's over in New York. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I trust everybody that Smokey brings into my world of nutrition and dogs and all of his recommendations, giving me real perspective as somebody who has a clean slate of a brain when it comes to anything protection wise, anything working dog wise. So he's like, you got to talk to Chris. I'm like, okay, cool. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
And so when this introduction was made, and this is where it starts to get really great, because now I'm being introduced to somebody who understands nutrition, who I just learned about, who does breeding, who works with working dogs, who has a military background.
And
To
he
me,
checks a lot of boxes that
a
I
lot of
don't.
boxes. Exactly. And to me, that's like, wow, this opens up the whole door to a whole new territory, but there's all similar foundation of protection in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And so when the introduction of this relationship took place and learning more about this, not only did I have one mentor,
Yeah.
it really opened up
Yeah.
a door to a whole different
Because
perspective.
he's been doing this is what he's come from a generational.
Yes,
dog world.
exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense.
And that's really the beauty in all of this for somebody like myself who, yes, on the nutrition side of petmatrx, we help all the dogs. I love helping our working dogs because of all of the great reasons that we'll get into in your conversation. But the beauty about this is having the West Coast and the East Coast come together.
Oh, yeah.
And we have two different backgrounds where you learned to work dogs and how you learned to work dogs.
Reptables. That's what we call them. Two reptables.
Yes, exactly. And then bridging it together
Yeah.
in this event here, where you guys had years of just knowing each other on Instagram, and boom, Chris was like, hey guys, I booked my flight. We're like,
I'm on my way.
okay,
Let's get it.
okay, let's go. And throwing it all together and literally having an instant mashup of a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's one thing about me. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Yeah. And you don't get that in people every day.
No, you don't.
You don't.
I always told what I say all the time: never tarnish your word, and always invest in your network.
Exactly.
So when I asked Smoke through Instagram, like, yo, what's this petmatrx stuff?
Yeah.
Because I'm big. So coming in a breeding family for 40 years, breeding working line dogs, we're always, look, everything could always get improved, right?
Sure.
So you want to know about the brain of the dog, the joints of the dog, the health of the dog, everything all encompasses to it. Genetics are first and foremost, training is secondary. But raising that dog and training, I always consider the nutrition part of it is part of training.
Yeah.
Right?
Key. That's key.
It is. And I want to elaborate on that. Training, foundation, everything that you're laying into a dog, it's so critical. But just like a human, I always like to relate things back to being a human. You as a human are experiencing internal chronic inflammation. It's harder to operate on a daily basis. For example, somebody might wake up with brain fog. Their joints might be achy. They may not feel good after they eat something, or maybe they need to take a nap more often after they consume food. Dogs are literally the same way.
Anatomically.
Exactly.
We're
Exactly.
right there. We just don't have a tail.
Exactly. And it just presents differently in a dog. So what we might see within a dog as lethargic, how many dogs you see like that, especially in the pet space too. Dogs that have digestive issues. What does that all look like? Even if they come from a breeder or if it's a rescue, it doesn't matter. That's all internal inflammation.
Yeah.
So for you, working with all of these dogs and your working line and your family and breeding all these things, from a working perspective, you have to look at things differently.
Yeah.
Okay, my puppies are going to most likely have different roles, career paths, whatever that is, whoever you are choosing to select your dog with, right?
Yes.
So if you're putting your dog in a working environment for its future, you have to look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at, how can I support my dog and preserve its wellness for its future career path? Because if there's anything I've heard you guys talk about all week that we've all been together, is how we hate seeing dogs gas out.
Oh, say that again?
Gas out.
Oh,
We hate
weird.
seeing dogs gas out.
And they all do.
Yes. And so how can we reinforce that? Oh,
As far, especially during recovery.
exactly. Exactly. And that's really where, when I was introduced to you, I was like, this guy really works dogs just like Smoke in a very different way. So how can we bridge this gap and put this together? How can we serve the canine community even further? Because I'll say it all day long, every single day, we're not your average dog supplement company.
Yep.
And so with that being said, we don't work with average dog trainers
Yep.
or average dog people.
That's called the key ingredient.
That's cold.
Right there.
That's cold.
Nice.
And it's very, very true, because there has to be a like-mindedness. There has to be, like you were saying, purpose. What is the purpose? Because we're not just here, sitting on the stage for nothing, right? We're not just having this conversation for nothing. We can see that there are things that could be better in the dog space, in every department. You have your department, you have your department, I have my department. So how can we make this all work together and come into the community and literally roll as a pack to change the game? Because it is 7 days a week.
Yep.
It's 24 hours a day. And all of a sudden,
365 and a quarter.
yeah. And there's people like you who have been in the game for so much longer than I have, literally decades longer. I am fresh, but I can still think about the dogs 24 hours a day, because that's all I think about now.
Yeah.
I think about now.
want to interject there. You said you're fresh, right?
Yeah.
So what we like to say that is you don't have any bad habits. No
I don't
bad
got
habits.
no bad habits because I got the best people to help me.
Yeah, and you've seen some of the experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've
absolutely.
seen some of the
Yeah.
experience that teach you
Yeah.
what literally to do and what literally not to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not perfect. I'm still learning, and I still have all of my things, but the fresh slate of eyes that I have through you too, both of you guys are very much my mentors in every which way. You guys have both brought me under your wing. And at the same time, the people that I can help from a nutritional standpoint, you guys are like, hey, can you talk to this person? Can you talk to this person? Your clients,
Yep.
your clients, all these people. And then that's how we start rolling together
Yeah.
and moving and making waves with people. My question for you is, even though I know the answer, but for those who are watching, when it comes to a nutritional standpoint with your dogs and breeding, why do you feel as a breeder, what I would consider you a legacy breeder, an ethical
like that,
breeder,
yeah.
Breeding for legacy of the breeds that you just have so much respect for. What is it within that for you that makes nutrition, because I know how you feed your dogs.
Yeah.
What is it for you that makes nutrition imperative?
So when it comes to genetics are first and foremost, I always say that. If you ate McDonald's every day or Burger King every day, or we'll call it any fast food every day,
Yeah.
you're going to feel it.
Yep.
So Smoke and I talked earlier with a gentleman named Henry. Shout out to Henry if you're out there. What I'd like to say about that, bringing it back, was like, what's the art of the decoy? There's athleticism. There's all these things, right?
Yeah.
I fight at a boxing gym, all these things that I like to do. I like to shoot guns. I like to train dogs. I like to run. I like to do all these little things. I know my own nutrition has to be on point. Right. Like I was in the Marine Corps. They were big on that. They don't care how big you are. They wanted you to be agile and fit. Right. So when it comes down to my dog, if I want my dog to compete in that working space or be my asset, my personal protection dog, we're trying to build assets, not liabilities. Okay. If you're bringing your dog every day somewhere and you say, I know I'm good to go. I know if I'm there and I got my dog with me, I'm safe, I'm secure. I need to know that whether it be my female Malinois Blue or any of the other dogs that I'm breeding or putting out into the world, or dogs I'm giving my clients, right? Or dogs that I get the dogs that everyone forgets about, or like the last resort. Right. The dog will bite 17 people and then be like, oh, maybe I should call the guy Chris now. You know, and then I show up, I'm like, oh, how's it going? Oh, he just bit this guy. And I said, okay, how long you got the dog? Oh, he's 3.5 years old. I'm like, and he never showed you any signs. No, out of nowhere. He just one day woke up. And the thing is, I'm not big on medication. Because a dog that's on medication is not showing you its natural point of aim, its natural mindset. Whereas that's why I like the product, right? Because it's natural. Right. So when you're looking at natural supplements to add to your dog's, well, look, we're going to call it the garnishment, right? Like those things there help build you. Like I'm a concrete kid. I'm from the Bronx. The concrete has to be laid down. That foundation has to be strong.
Gotta be.
Exactly. And it actually goes back to and reminds me of when I was first introduced to smoke, and you know he's telling, and I knew nothing about working dogs back then, nothing. Again, I'm fresh in the game, guys. Like I knew nothing, but regardless of that, I can understand the body. When you have these working dogs, no matter how skilled they are experiencing inflammation. So in my first conversation with Smoke, him telling me about Zen, all the amazing things that he can do. The number one thing was, how can I help my dog for all the work that he's done and showing me love in his way of work? How can I give back to my dog so I can pay him back and help him feel good? So by the time he ages, he's not in pain all the time.
And Smoke's dog feels like it's a 3-year-old dog.
Yes. And I'll never forget.
It's definitely made a difference since I've been giving it to him, without a doubt.
And I'll never forget. I was blown away from somebody that I knew nothing about. I didn't know anything about you. I knew nothing about your dog. I knew nothing about the working space. I knew that we could help dogs. At that time, we were helping pets, which is wonderful. Different mindset. But to gain the level of respect from you and then being introduced to people like you and being incorporated into that, to me, that speaks volumes. Because in my heart, I'm like,
you become one of us. You're a 1%.
We're doing it.
You're a 1%er now.
Yeah. And it's so wonderful to do that because that's really what changes the game. We deliver nutrition with a pharmaceutical punch all day, every day. We can help all the dogs. My passion is really helping these working dogs. Absolutely the sports dogs too, because they experience the same. But for the people from a breeding perspective, we have a lot of incredible breeders in our community. Regenerative breeders, all different types of dogs. And at the end of the day, these breeders want their dogs to represent them. So they have to loop the whole back in of what they know can go wrong with their breed. It's not necessarily about them, it's just the breed. And what comes with that, especially German Shepherds.
I mean, when you look at a German Shepherd, it has bad hips, right? First thing they say. It's got bad hips. It's got megaesophagus, skin infections, ear infections, bad hips, sensitive stomach. All these things are not, it's a production of poor breeding.
Exactly.
Plus, on top of that, not just the poor breeding, but also what these dogs are eating, the nutrition.
Exactly.
What you put in your dog's bowl should be meticulously maintained.
Exactly.
Okay.
It matters. Every single day matters.
It should.
Every single feeding matters. And if you are giving your dog something that has things that, I'm just going to say it, that aren't necessarily biologically appropriate, okay, we're going to be feeding the inflammation in that dog. And so we don't want to do that. So if you're giving your dog something,
encouraging it.
And then let's just say you're doing that for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Oh, shoot. I'm 5 years in unknowingly inflaming my dog. What creates inflammation? lots of things, fillers, binders, all these things that can be found in poor quality kibbles, pesticides that are used in foods. I can go on and on.
So back to the inflammation part of it. So with my background in working dogs and then training a lot of pet dogs, what we see, and you may experience this also and know people that you see, they have their dog sitting idly at home all day long. And then they say, we're going to go for a run.
Exactly.
They take that dog out, and the first thing they do, because I've been jogging, I've been doing this, and that
Water.
dog, Achilles tendon tear, like ACL tears.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say, ACL tears, gassing out, inflammation across the entire body. You never know, but it's a dog. It should be healthy.
Yeah.
He may look healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Until that operation comes in where the dog has to jump up into a car.
Exactly.
Or jump off the chair, or whatever the case may be, right? So that's where all this inflammation comes to light, because then it's like, well, how did he hurt himself? And the first thing the veterinarians say, and I do respect veterinarians because I know plenty of them, and I work with plenty of them, but most of the cases, like, oh, ACL tears, super common. And it is. You know why it is? Because these dogs aren't trained correctly.
Overweight.
They're overweight.
Yeah.
The nutrition's not there.
Yeah.
Because, look, the life we live, dogs are primary, right? Everybody else, like, and I'm not saying that like your families don't care about their dogs, but if you have a family and you have a husband or a wife and kids and this and that, a job, your dog is secondary. So every day you're like, my friends, look at me. I had to come here to meet you guys, right?
Yeah.
Work, we did a bunch of training.
Come here to
had
meet
to come
us.
here. Had to. I was forced, you know. No, but like, this is a long time coming, and I feel like
for sure.
working with you, it's just like cross-cut gears, man. We
This
fell
is a
right into
dream
place.
come true, man.
You know?
This has been an incredible week of just like soaking up everything, experience all these things, and learning so much from both of the different fields that you guys are working independently and bridging together. And that's real special.
And that's all part of like the best part of it, right? Because we're here for dogs, right? So all these things that are going on in our heads every day of business and work and this and that, we're not thinking about the actual dog, even at this moment, right? But however, that dog is always thinking of you.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got your life, your family, all this stuff. Life gets in the way, and then you also have your dog.
Exactly.
However, that dog only cares about you, what you're doing. Am I going with mom and dad to work today? I can't wait to go in the car. I just want to be there, right?
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and that's the thing. You know, there's a picture that went viral. I've reposted it numerous times. There's a gentleman sitting on the dock with his dog next to him. And the gentleman's head is a big cloud bubble, like the thought process. The house, the car, the boat, the dog, the friend, the family, all this stuff. All this stuff. And then the dog, go to the bubble. It's literally just a picture of the owner and the dog sitting on the dock.
Yeah.
That's all he care about.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And at the end of the day, that's all we care about.
Yeah.
We want our dogs to be around for as long as possible. Give them a quality, whole-rounded life.
Yeah, short
Good
life,
food.
150 years.
Right? Short, yeah. Let's try to push it.
Every one of them.
Yeah. Good food, appropriate exercise, decompression space. That's not talked about enough for dogs.
Wow. Yeah, you about to drop some term drop on us again.
Decompression space.
Yeah.
I've never even known that.
AKA a kennel. A crate where they can go in,
Then, you know,
and be
they
in
can
their
be a
private,
dog.
their private. You know, we all know that, but I like to call it a decompression space.
Code name.
Yeah, you
She
know,
gives everything a code name.
Yeah, it
yeah,
seems
code.
like.
Yes, I do.
I'm like, oh, just isolate them. They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, that's a wrong term to use. I'm like, what do you mean? Just give him his
For
own
sure.
time.
Yeah.
Isolate the dog, you know?
Yeah,
Put him in the crate.
yeah, exactly. You know, quality nutrition and supplemental, wherever you feel that your dog can improve, it can. And people have to understand that in that regard, there is no cap. At any age with your dog, you can make those changes.
Yeah.
And the micro makes the macro. And that's what I love about my end of nutrition bridging into the training space, because it's literally the same thing.
It's crazy you said micro makes the macro, because I look at us as decoys. Our minor motor movements are major motor movements for the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't even, that's
Yeah,
2
yeah.
coins right there. you
And
know?
the same thing with nutrition. If somebody, let's just say somebody doesn't want to go fully raw, fine. Let's give you the cleanest kibble option. But add one of our supplements and maybe add a raw egg on your kibble and hydrate that kibble with some water. Those are micro changes that are going to make a macro in a year from now.
Yeah. They'll see the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that nice reminder for how our bodies absorb impact, inflammation, all these things our dogs do as well.
And because when I'm inflamed, I can't get that good adrenaline rush.
Well,
It's tough.
exactly.
I still want my fix.
And why is
I
that?
gotta
Chase that wave.
Why is that? That's because the nervous system is stressed. And in the dog world, I know this is where I get really
gets pumped.
This
Did y'all
is where,
see that, boys and girls?
This
We're
is
about to
where
back up,
this
give us
is
some space.
this is where I get
You
really
gonna
excited.
David Banner around here. It's gonna turn green.
The nervous system is not talked enough about in all aspects of the dog world, especially in the training world. No. It's not just about laying foundations. It's communicating with the nervous system so that it can receive the information and then send the signals appropriately to what you want the action to be.
Yeah.
So if a dog has an inflamed nervous system, let's just say from food, poor quality food, trauma, whatever trauma the dog has experienced, it's going to be harder to train that dog. It's going to take you a little bit longer because the nervous system is inflamed. So you have static, you have too much noise going on for that dog to be able to be like, oh, this is what is trying to be communicated to me so I can perform in this expected behavior, this new behavior.
That almost coincides with what we have. We have to read that.
Yes.
I don't want to stress a puppy out. I don't want a puppy to feel anxiety.
Yes.
I have to read when to cap the session.
Yes, exactly.
And it might be 15 seconds,
Yeah.
1 minute. But you never want to push a dog's RPM. That's what I call the term,
Sure.
RPMs.
Sure.
To the point where you see the dog panicking, stressing. That's our job as a decoy.
Right, right.
To prevent as much stress
Right.
as we can.
And
Right.
that could be done in a very short
What?
time.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
I
don't
can just look at a dog.
Yeah.
It's called presence.
Yeah.
This who the dogs think they face.
Right.
They don't know that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
of course.
facing the boogeyman, or this guy,
Right.
they have to learn how to deal with that.
Right. Exactly.
You got to know how to be in a situation. Like I always say, you have to enjoy. I love the uncomfortable situation. Before I got into the dog game, the things I was doing, I just I immersed myself in the uncomfortable situation. So I'm real comfortable where most people are panicky.
That's
I tell-
what builds resilience.
That's it.
Say
That's what I
that
tell
again.
all my clients at home.
Resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah. I tell all
Yeah.
my clients at home, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get
Yeah.
comfortable
If you talk
being
to
uncomfortable.
Any of the people I trained on the East Coast, they will tell you, what does Chris say all the time? Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Put them in the volcano, make them settle.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we had a great training day. Tons
A
of
lot
dogs.
of stuff happened.
And we went from a cold temperature to a hot temperature.
A lot of stuff happened.
And after the session, all the dogs that I know were genetically from an area of, what we're going to say, from your genetics, right?
Yeah. We all
And
chilling.
then that's it. And then
That was
also
good.
on
Good
the
point.
supplements,
Good point. Really
those
good
dogs
point.
were very level-headed.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. We all finished and pulled out fathers,
Yeah.
sons, daughters, and everybody
Hanging
was
out.
chilling.
Level.
We were hanging out.
And you got to
they-
realize,
and the RPMs were just.
you've been doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
So
Yeah. I
I'm
didn't
coming.
think about that.
I
Yeah.
come in on the West Coast here, which don't get mad at me.
we
Bronx,
brought the
New York,
macho
but
man.
I wanted to see how it was going to be, and being
The wolf.
being a wolf, I said, all right, we'll come over here and see what it is. You know?
Yeah.
And then being able to take part in the trainings, things that we've done, the scenarios we've done together already, and then being able to see the level of how these puppies and how these adults of all
These are
different
pet
ranges,
matrix puppies too.
They are.
Exactly.
That's
They are
another
the very
thing.
first litter.
And we got we got some more in the oven.
Yes.
We got
And-
more in the oven.
And these puppies, when we say pet matrix litter, what we really mean by that is the parents
Yes.
had it in their system. So what does that even really mean?
Wow.
Wow.
Here we go. Hold on
Well.
your seat, boys and girls.
Well, their parents had enough time to rebuild and reset their internal system. That means that we're addressing inflammation from the inside out prior to breeding taking place.
Yep.
That makes the biggest difference.
Love it. Love it. That's how you see the passion there. You know?
Yes, it makes the biggest difference for these puppies that are going to
Yeah.
come out, because now what have we done? Protect, that's our immune and gut support. Oh, we've put their gut lining back together? Majority.
Before they even get air.
What do they say?
Before they even get here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it proper planning prevents piss poor performance?
There we go.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
What?
Yeah. You missed the onomatopoeia, bro.
He can remember.
I got a great memory.
Boy.
Proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
Exactly. So
That's where the pet matrix comes in.
Exactly. So now we got peptides like BPC 157, KPV. Oh, so you're going to tell me, okay, I'm going to have a better litter because the parents had their gut lining restored?
Father and mother.
So what does that mean? Oh, we've just eliminated a huge amount of histamine response, allergies, skin issues, fur challenges, yeast conditions, leaky gut, all these things that go back where, oh, let me just go ahead and correct the parent's gut first, give it a couple months. Okay, now let's do the breeding. Oh, and now when these puppies are born, okay, great. Let's go ahead and give them supports too.
Eileen, they like the female, she's pregnant. She's been getting it for a year before she's
and
pregnant.
That is like priming the scenario and situation.
Now she's pregnant. She's gotten it throughout her pregnancy, and she's due in 3 more weeks. And then I'm going to be giving it to her while she's nursing.
All
and then
of
it crosses as when they're weaned. It
in the
starts
milk.
going right into their food.
The
So
amount,
it just,
exactly. And the amount of litters that we've had from not just working dogs, but we have all different types of dogs that would be considered accessory dogs.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that.
Yep. Go for it. Open the door.
In New York, I train everything. I don't just train working dogs. I train Chihuahuas.
Yep.
To Tibetan Mastiffs. It doesn't matter, right? And a lot of these dogs are either rescues or stuff I don't know the genetics of. You have no idea. What is it? It's a Puerto Rican Island dog. It's got everything in it.
Yeah.
That's what we call them.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? Puerto Rican Island dogs. It's got everything in it.
Yeah.
It's a Chihuahua, German Shepherd, Cane Corso, Pit Bull, Staffordshire Terrier. It's got all this stuff, right?
Sure.
Seeing the products work on a lot of the behavioral dogs I'm fixing, that has helped, right? So much because I put these dogs on, tell the client, I'm like, look, the dog needs a heavy board and train. You need to change your lifestyle. I think we had a conversation about that. Like, oh, if someone was going to enter the working dog space, right?
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to do that, what does good look like for you?
Yeah.
Because I have to ask these clients that, like, what does good look like for you? And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, you have this type of dog that is being kept out of its normal genetic breed purpose, right?
Yeah.
What does good look like for you? How do you want to live your life with this dog? And they said, well, I want this, and this. I said, okay. I said, depending on what kind of breed it is and the background and how it was environmentally brought up, plus the foundation, whatever food you're feeding, the supplements you're giving. You know how many people, I give them probiotics every day. Probiotic. If I get probiotic one more time, I'll be dead. You know? So when you do all these things, okay, that's fine because they're giving either false information or misleading information. They think they're doing the best thing for their dog.
Yeah.
However, if the dog's gut isn't healthy and it's not absorbing the materials correctly, what are you really doing there?
Exactly.
Right?
And let me touch on that for a second, Kay. So the reason we do not have probiotics in our gut and immune support. Well, why? Because if your dog, majority of dogs, have inflammation in that gut, and that inflammation gets very bad, chronic, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, most dogs plus. That chronic inflammation then creates these little micro holes in the gut lining. That's where then food begins to leak through that gut. Where does that go? Oh, in the bloodstream. So now my dog's inflamed. So let's just say you're giving your dogs probiotics, but you have an overly inflamed gut. What is happening? Probiotics, which is bacteria, goes into the bloodstream.
So you making a little, with a little tea tree. Your dog is a tea tree dish, basically.
Yeah.
What was that? Resident Evil, the T virus or whatever?
Yes.
You didn't put your dog in the tea tree dish, didn't even know it.
Yes. So what we encourage people, because I consult with people on the phone all day long about nutrition, their dogs, our products, and not just about our products, changing the diet.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just it, okay? When you are going to incorporate probiotics with the gut that has not been restored the right way, that's what, again, where our BPC 157 and KPV and other compounds in Protect come in.
Did she just call us?
Bro, I don't even know.
Did you just call me and Chris something?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Peptides, the power of peptides.
Does my name
Smoke,
start with a number?
Yeah. Smoke, you go
Well.
first. You go first.
Well, number one. So, those peptides stitch the gut lining back together like a sewing machine in a ripped t-shirt. Wait 30 to 60
Watch
days.
it. You talking to the macho man over here, the Randy Savage. You gotta watch how you talk about ripped t-shirts.
So good. Wait 30 to 60 days before you put those probiotics in so that the good bacteria can be held.
Absorbed.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have people call and they'll say, how long does it take? I said, at least a month.
Yeah,
least a
exactly.
month.
Exactly. So, talking about nutrition.
Before we get out of here, I need a Wonder Twin powers. Activate.
We need to like a there we go. With this being said, you guys work dogs, train dogs, decoy with dogs. You teach humans how to step into this role as well. And the fact that what you guys do and nutrition comes together, they are one of the same. So for anybody that doesn't understand that, just come our way.
Yeah.
Come, like Bob Barker said, come on down.
That's it.
Right on. Well, I so appreciate you
Oh,
guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you
coming
guys
out.
for having
Thank
me
you.
out,
Come
man.
on now.
Yeah, family,
Boom.
man. Air 5.
Air 5.
There it is.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys. Stay tuned.